Good morning. Good morning. This is July 2nd, 2025, and I will be your host. This is Frank and Easy Financial Group. We have today with us Richard and we have Ron I Will, who are going to share some uh, words of wisdom with us. And I'm going to, Alma, if I make you a co host, would you watch the screen and let anyone in? Would you be able to do that, Elma?
Yes, yes.
All right. Watch the screen. If you see a blue thing pop up at the top of the screen, just let them in because we wanted to have a frank conversation. Let me be frankly speaking, let me be frank with you. We wanted to have a conversation about focusing where the fire is.
Okay.
And and so we're recording this right now. And Richard, you and I were having a conversation yesterday. And could you share some of the things that we were talking about with regard to focusing where the fire is?
Okay. There are, a lot of things for all of us to learn. And there's a lot of things that for all of us to kind of get comfortable enough that we can talk about it and present it and so forth. Um, I was just mentioning yesterday with Frank that we all need to kind of focus on something that where we can get our feet on the ground solidly first and really kind of get a comfort level in and really drill down on that thing. Uh, a hunter goes to the forest. If he takes a shotgun, he's going to get different results than if he takes a rifle. If he takes a rifle, he's likely to be more accurate and get more game. I'm not a huge hunter, but I learned that in my lifetime, and it's certainly true in business. You want to most of the time you want to be a sharpshooter rather than a somebody with a shotgun. You can accomplish more. You can get to where you want to be. So focusing in on where your comfort level is, drilling down on that, getting as much information as you can, and then putting the I call it putting the pedal to the metal to the pedal. In other words, putting your foot down and really getting your engine revving and focusing on one good thing. If you can find one good thing to really focus on, that's going to get you probably the best results, the earliest results. And it'll also, in the meantime, it won't be long before you're going to be an expert in that area anyway. But focusing on what's important and what's going to get you early returns makes all the difference in the world.
So, Ron, we were talking earlier, and you were telling me something about uh, putting together meetings in Texas. Tell me a little bit about that. You got
All
on.
right,
There you go.
so I'm a little different when it comes down to recognizing opportunity. I'm going into a little room here so I can be a little bit more block out some of the noise. But when it comes down to opportunity, you got to go where the money is and where the money's being spent. So I am definitely going to be going to these um, real estate meetings here in Dallas, and I've done some research. I called a I guess he's an investor that fund, fix and flips. And the guy was very polite at the same time. He told me, man, you're calling the competition. So it really gave me the information that I needed to realize that we're in the right place, but you got to go where the money is and where the money's being spent. So me having, you know, real estate license and knowing how hard that really is, I have an advantage. So having the courage to go out to these meetings is easier than you think, because a lot of these people, when you go to these RESPA meetings, they're looking for money. They're looking for you. And when you get on when you find an opportunity to work with people like Frank and Jim and Richard that have all the experience, that have all of the documentation, all you have to do is take action, find these meetings and go to the meetings, get comfortable with that, and then start setting up where you can present this opportunity to the, you know, the realtors, the people that fix and flip homes, people that start businesses. This is easy.
So what you said is, and this is what Richard said yesterday, is you find the RIA group. Now, during the training the other day, I did a search for RIA, which stands for Real Estate Investment Association, REIA. So I did a REIA search, and I come up with 8,000 in 0.79 seconds, less than a minute. I come up with 8,000 places to go. So, Richard, what were you telling me about what I should do, what we should do about going to the RIA meetings? How do we go to them? Do we go as the expert, or do we go as a guest?
Well, I say go as a guest. That's where you start. And the interesting thing about that is that most RIA meetings, the majority of people in the audience, in that meeting, are there as guests. They're all kicking the tires. They've heard about it. They've been invited to it, perhaps one way or the other. And some of them may be contractors, people who kind of get the job once in a while and are curious, well, maybe I should start doing this myself. Others are just going to be husband and wife teams that come to the realization, hey, we need to start investing in real estate and doing a buy, fix, and flip. We still see this stuff on the HGTV channel and all this other stuff of home flippers, and they seem to be enjoying themselves, spending a bunch of money, but they're able to do this and actually make money. So they're kind of wondering, well, can we do that too? So you look at the audience for any one of those meetings, and a lot of them are going to be just like you. They're going to be there with their ears open, ready to meet people and hear what their stories are and see, is this what I want to do? There are going to be some in that group who are very experienced, who really kind of feel a community with that group of people. And maybe they got 4 or 5 buy, fix, and flips going on at any given time. Maybe they're blowing and going, they're doing well. There are going to be other people who maybe even a larger type of developer that has all sorts of business interest in real estate across the board. They're all going to be there, but they're all wanting to kind of meet and greet and hear other people's stories and get some good ideas. And ultimately, for a lot of them, is this something I want to do? Is this something that I want to do to actually get involved in? And can I? How much is this going to cost me? How much cash do I need? All those kinds of questions. And one of them, of course, is going to be, well, is my credit good enough? Can I qualify for something like this? All those questions are in their minds. If you go as just another guest, and you can walk in, they're not closed. I mean, the door's open. You go in and you sit down with them. You meet and greet them. You stand around for a little bit, chatting among them, and you begin to, they begin to tell you their story and ask you about yours. It's a good way to get comfortable. If any of you are public speakers and are great, you can get up and give a speech like Teddy Roosevelt or something. Well, that's fine. I'm not that guy. and probably most people aren't that kind of guy, that not a Bill Clinton that can get up and pontificate for 30 minutes about nothing and everybody walks away and say, wasn't that great? I'm not that guy. But there are people in that group that are seeking the same information, the same sort of comfort that you're seeking as well. Once you get to the point where you're beginning to know some of these people, you go back the next time and hey, I recognize that guy. I talked to him last time. I talked to that couple. How are you guys doing? And they're enthusiastic. You're beginning to kind of check this and that, and the point is you get comfortable with your audience. And if you're going to get up and actually present it sometime, the best way to start is to get comfortable with your audience. Know who you're talking to and feel comfortable knowing that you can look at them in the face while you're standing up there giving a little presentation and know, hey, Fred, you know what I'm talking about, or Deborah, we were talking about this the other day. This is what we were talking about. Having that rapport with your audience eventually is where you want to get. In the meantime, as you're meeting and greeting and having these little conversations, you're going to discover that they're going to ask you, well, what do you do? What do you want to do? Well, one of the things you want to do is I'd love to get into buy, fix, and flip myself. But I just happen to be, I represent a company that has a terrific exclusive 125% buy, fix, and flip program. And I'm thinking that, I want to use it. You guys may want to use it too. Whatever your pitch is, whatever you want to present yourself as, they're beginning to get excited because they're talking to somebody who can really offer them some solutions. And it's you. And they know you because they met you 2 or 3 times already, and they're comfortable in talking to you. Yes, Frank.
Well, so, that's kind of what you told me yesterday, that we need to get familiar with the crowd and go there as a guest. Don't go there like you're getting ready to do battle. Go there just as a guest. And I confess to you, when I was a puppy at this business, I was living in Massachusetts. And there, what I did at that time is I found out where North Shore meets, where South Shore meets, where East Boston meets, where Worcester meets. That's 4 different locations. And I, as a puppy in the business, went to each one of these RIA meetings, and each one of them was on a different day of the month. And it usually was either a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So I would go to the North Shore this week, to the South Shore next week, to East Boston the next week, and Western Mass the fourth week. And it was like a cycle. And I would go around up to all of those groups. When I again, I was just a puppy. I was learning the business. I wasn't presenting. I wasn't doing, I was just going to the meetings. After a while of going to the meetings, I started picking up followers, and I had a whopping 26. We called ourselves Foreclosure Intervention Group. They called me Fig Frankie, FIG Frankie, Foreclosure Intervention Group. And we were going to the RIA meetings to find out how to do this game, how it's actually done. And so I didn't come as a presenter. I came as the guest, like Richard is saying. I came as the guest. And because I came as the guest, they welcome you in, man. They want to shake your hand. They want to know all about you, and and they're welcoming you into the group, and they want to educate you. So you don't have to come across like you know everything there is to know. All you have to do is have business cards or a flyer and say, well, I'm looking into this, and you hand the 125% buy, fix, and flip flyer to them, and they look at it, they say, ain't nobody on the planet doing 125%. Say, well, there's a meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. You're welcome to join me. And then next thing you know, they're going to get the education that you're getting right now. They're going to get that education. You didn't do anything scary. You were just a guest. And at that time, I was just a guest. I went to all of those. And before you knew it, now I'm bragging. We'd take about the third row and we would fill the third row chairs. And they would always go around and say, "Who are you?" And I'd stand up. "I'm Frank with Foreclosure Intervention Group. I'm Bill with Foreclosure Intervention Group. I'm Mary with Foreclosure." We'd all stand up. We took the whole second or third row, and eventually, and and where did we get these people? From these meetings, because one person always knows another person. One person in the meeting knows 10 people that are not in the meeting, and they share it with those 10 people. That's what network marketing is all about. At the time, I didn't understand network marketing. So I'm not saying I was the guru back then. I was not. I was just learning. But now, because this person joined me, they had 10 people that weren't in those meetings, and they joined us as well. And that's how we grew that organization tremendously when I lived in Boston. That was many, many, many moons ago. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. And Ron, yesterday we were talking to Dion and Richard. Do you remember what? Oh, Dion lives in the same town James Moneypenny lives in, exact same town. And so they're going to be holding meetings. And I think that you and Dion and Brenda need to get together, because they're going to be holding meetings to learn the business, and they're going to be bringing people in to learn the business. I think it'd be a wonderful opportunity to do all of the things. Richard, could you tell us a little bit about what Dion said yesterday?
Well, he's got a number of businesses he's involved in, but his primary focus is on franchising. He's a franchise broker and represents over 1,500 different franchises. Mostly everything from Molly Maids to Subway to whomever. And he is in the business of actually connecting people who are interested in becoming a franchisee and the franchisors themselves who are looking for new franchises. And they're very happy to have a guy like Dion in the marketplace, being the matchmaker to bring people together. But he also has a number of other businesses that he's involved in, and they all are kind of symbiotic in the sense that he got involved in this because, well, this kind of helps that, and before you know it, he's got a little empire going.
No, what I was really wanting to stay on the idea of the franchise. And so his goal was to have an attorney, an accountant, him as the broker for the franchises, and then of course I piped up, and Ron as the money man. So that's kind of like the whole puzzle. If you've got the whole puzzle, now all of a sudden what Dion said is the guests that come to that who were thinking about buying a franchise. Remember, we do 5 major things. Finance is one, franchises is another, and you can't buy a franchise if you don't have the money. So if Ron showed up at that meeting, or Brenda showed up at that meeting, and somebody said, "Why, guys, this is fantastic, but I'm broke as a joke, and I'd love to do it," Brenda can say, "Well, what if I could get the money for you? Would you like to sign up for a franchise? Which franchise do you want? Tell Dion which franchise you'd like." Dion says, "This one's available. How much is it going to be?" It's going to be like $75,000 to get this franchise. Can you help me, Brenda? I sure can. There you go. There you go. Just show up. Just show up as a guest. And I'm telling you that's what I did. I didn't know I was creating. I didn't know what I was creating. I just was doing it. And that's kind of, if you just do it, don't sit on your lap. I mean, don't sit on your butt. Just do it. Just do it. And if I heard, I don't remember, I can't quote the person, do it right, do it wrong, just do it. So, but in business, you're either growing or you're dying. There's no such thing as standing still. You're either growing or you're dying. So I was young at the time. There's no white hair, none of that stuff. And so I just did it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just did it. Same as you. You don't have to wait until you know everything that I know, because it's been 40 years for me. I don't want it to be 40 years for you. Just do it. Just get out. If you do it right, oh, wonderful. If you do it wrong, wonderful. Why wonderful? Because you got an opportunity to learn what not to do next time. All right. Ron, you were talking about the meetings. Tell me a little bit about what you wanted to do for your meetings.
Well, I'm with another company. I think all of us, I know that you are, and Richard and Brenda with the Great Discovery. And I was, I'm a people person, so I'm a connector. So, I was planning on setting up meetings for the Great Discovery for artificial intelligence, teaching people. But now, and this is where you really have to pay attention to what it is that you truly love doing. And I teach a class on how to discover what you truly love doing, but I love to talk. That's where my success comes in. And in order for me to talk, I have to have subjects and opportunities that I believe in to talk about. So I was already looking to set up meetings for the Great Discovery. And then I met Frank and I met Richard in Tennessee. And I went to Tennessee just to meet some of the shakers and movers. And I was able to connect with Frank. And we had a conversation about money. It was just that simple. A lot of people don't want to talk about money, but when we started to talk about money, and Frank's conversation really piqued my interest because he said something about a transaction that he made in real estate and going to the bank and the bank not having the money, right? And so I said, okay, I need to learn more about what Frank does, right? So now, instead of me setting up meetings, I can go to the meetings, rest of meetings, and then create even a bigger meeting, because now I have an opportunity to even help those people get the money that they need. And eventually I will be able to do our own meetings. And again, Frank talking about Dion right now, Frank talking about Dion. I don't know Dion, but what they just talked about with me and Brenda walking into a meeting with his people that's looking to purchase these franchises. And that's the thing, man. It just gets better and better and better when it comes down to you understanding what it is that you truly love doing, because it comes natural, it comes easy. So that's what me and Frank was talking about before the call started this morning. And you got to take the first step. And I did something crazy after they did the training last week in regards to, going to, how to set your business up, and starting with, first of all, you got to fill out the documents. You got to get your documents into Richard. If you haven't done that, they had to change some things with the affiliate
being a pro agent. Now we're affiliates, but whatever. But get your documents in. And then when they rolled it out, these are the steps that you need to take. I made some phone calls, which was crazy because I called a guy that was an investor, and he kind of, shared some things with me that gave me the confidence that said, there's a lot of money out here. You need to go get some. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it, and starting with the right mind. That's funny, right? Starting with the right mindset, you're a connector. Right now, people, they're losing their jobs. They're looking for ways to, do something that they love to do. And what better way than, you being able to be a resource to help them do what they love doing. Okay, so when you go to these meetings, like Richard said, there's going to be people in there that's contemplating on doing the fix and flips or starting a real estate business. And now you're the resource. It don't get any better than this. And then you have these three gentlemen, Jim and Richard and Frank, that's going to help you, hold your hand until you get to the point where you can hold somebody else's hand. It don't get any better.
So, we have 5 major products. We call them the big 5. We have a video that we send out. So when we're talking to people, I always say, have your email set up. So all you have to do is type in their information, their email address, and hit send. So let's say you're on the phone with that person and you said something like, well, what is it that you do? Well, I have a video that I can send you. It takes about 3 minutes. And would you be open to take a look at the video? Well, sure. Where do you want me to send that video to? And then they give you Frank at you type it in, you hit the button, and you hear bling, you got mail. Say, would you like to take a look at that video while I'm on the phone with you? I can answer any questions. And it's only 3 minutes. So yeah, okay. So now that person's listening to that big 5. Something in that big 5 is going to resonate with them. And I'm telling you right now, any one of those big 5, if you become a specialist at any one of those big 5, you will be very, very lucrative position. Any one of those big 5. If you know 2 of those big 5, you're fantastic. If you know 3 of those big 5, but I don't expect everyone to know all 5. Just pick the ones that resonates with you. And now you say, what did you like best about what we saw on the phone? I'm still on the phone with that person. So what did you like best with what you saw? And they said, well, man, I'd love to get involved with franchises. I mean, you can make millions of dollars with franchises. Look at a McDonald's franchise. They were $100,000 years ago. Now you can't even touch one for $1 million. So, yeah, that's right. That's right. You can make $1 million with franchises. But how are they going to get the money to pay for it? Well, they're going to call Brenda. Brenda's going to get them the money. That's what I'm trying to say. If you take the big 5, and if you have that keyed up and ready to go, not, oh, let me fiddle around here and find it. No. Have it keyed up and ready to just type in their email address and hit send. Or I type in their phone number and hit send and have it come on their text messaging. If you do that while you're calling the people, my God, you're going to be so good. And you're going to find people that want that one of these 5 resonates with them. And then we focus on that one of those 5 and we help them. And we have Richard, who has vast experience with videos and videography and with franchise businesses. You have Jim that has vast experience with apartment complexes and multi-unit a bit commercial buildings, and you got Frank that's got a lot of experience with all of that stuff. I wanted to say holding your hand, but not holding your hand, supporting you, supporting you. We're behind you. We're supporting you. We're here for you. So that's that's all okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. Brenda, you've been so quiet. Come unmute yourself and tell us what you think about what we're saying.
Well, I'm enjoying it because this is my first time being in any real estate business at all. And I'm sitting here writing notes. That's why I kept looking down and trying to figure out how I can get that video that you was talking about. What do you do? And when you as you ask the people, what do you do? And then you ask them, what do you think about the listening of the video? I'm really excited to be a part of the organization because I'm learning a lot. I appreciate that.
Well, your wish is my command. Richard, get her the all the videos. We got a whole bunch of videos. Get a bag of popcorn because we got a bunch of videos for you to look at. Richard's going to send it to you.
Okay.
All right. Jim, you're sitting there just as quiet as a mouse. Lean forward and talk into your microphone and give us some words of your wisdom.
I was just loving listening to Ron. He wasn't interrupted so many times. We could have might got something from him. But you know how it is. You know, some people's got to hoard the floor. And
Yeah,
I'm not one of those that likes to hoard the floor.
I know.
So I just sit back and listen. That
Thank you
suits
so
you, Frank?
much. Fits perfect.
Did I
Fits
touch
like
your
a
inner-
glove. It fits like a glove.
Yeah, I
Elma,
bet it does.
Elma, how are you doing today, Elma? You got to unmute yourself if you're going to say anything. All right. Well, it is only 10:35, and I pretty much said everything I needed to say. Ron, did you want to try to give that PowerPoint presentation a shot?
Oh, absolutely. I can do that. Sure, sure. I'm not sure. I don't have my microphone hooked up to my computer. How's my sound coming across?
It's
Perfect.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Sure. You can if you pull those slides up, Frank, and just once I'm done with that, go to the next one. That'll be fine. I can go through that for you.
Okay, well, let's see if we can do that. This isn't ladies and gentlemen, this is not planned. Whatever happens, happens. Okay, let's see. Uh-oh, what's going on? It's opening. Hey, wow, that was pretty cool. All right, let's go to sorry, but the PowerPoint has run into a problem. Like I said, this was not planned, and let's see if it's going to work now. Okay, let's try to I want to slideshow. Hit the slideshow. Start from the beginning. There you go.
Work.
You ready?
Yep.
We ain't went nowhere yet.
I don't hear Ron speaking.
Well, I don't see your screen, so are you going to share?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Bad Frank. Bad Frank. Oh no.
We might like your shirt if you be good.
Okay. Come on. We need to get into the. I can't find my power tools. There they are, right there. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, now I.
Is right underneath of you.
Yeah, but it was
Oh,
hidden.
Richard.
It was hidden. It was hidden. All right, now let's see if we can do it. All right. Ron, you're on.
Okay, okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining in this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about the Easy Financial Group LLC. And today, I have the privilege to present to you this opportunity to actually take advantage of our exclusive 125% buy, fix, and flip program. And so, what we want to do is make sure that everybody put themselves on mute. Make sure you have a pen and piece of paper so you can take some notes. Okay, so this is a very simple concept, guys. It's just basically what you're going to be basically doing is showing people how to gain the funds that they really need to either start their business, or people that really that's looking for money to actually attain properties. And we have an exclusive program. It's 125%. It's called Fix and Flip, right? So what we want to do as affiliates is we want to create a sense of urgency for these people to take advantage of this real estate. And basically, real estate is basically, you go into where the people are. We call it the real estate market is on fire. And you want to basically be right in the middle of the movement of money and people, and helping people attain the asset, the money that they need. Okay, so basically, what we want to make sure you're doing is you're getting your fair share. You want to get into the mode of understanding how this really works. It's an easy way to get use. Basically, you just have to jump in a pool of water. You have to jump in and sink or swim, but you got to take that first step. And the fastest way to get involved in real estate funding is to amuse yourself in it. It's just that simple. All right. And this is very, very important. The pool is alive and well. All you got to do is find these RESPA group meetings and put yourself in the middle of these meetings right now. Okay. But now this is tough love. This is just for the people, the shakers and movers that really want to step up their game and move forward.
Oh, we have a major catastrophe here. It looks like I lost everything.
That's all right. You'll find it.
I can hear. I mean, everything disappeared just now. Like my screen sharing is there. It's screen sharing. But I've got a blank white screen right now. What happened? Okay, Ron, I'm not going to put you through any more torture. You did real well. You did real well, Ron. And I'm embarrassed. It's not your fault. It's my fault.
Just send me the slides, Frank, and then I'll have it, and I can go through that.
Yeah.
No problem.
I'll do that. I'll send you that slide presentation.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't even see anybody. It's just a white screen. So don't know what that's all about.
Check the battery.
Can I intervene real quick? Okay. Brenda went to a meeting in regards to how to start a, there was Brenda, tell us about the meeting that you went to.
I went to a meeting because it was an entrepreneur meeting. And at the time I didn't know. I just went to the meeting because Frank had told us to go out to visit these meetings in the community. And so as I went, I found out I was with a lot of Chase Bank employees. They was doing a meeting on how to get funds and how to start a business. And so as I went, I did like Frank said, I communicated with the people, but I didn't have any cards at the time. And so I just talked to them. One lady gave me a card, and I noticed people were giving out cards. I didn't have any, but they were different types of businesses that was there. One lady had a business with the restaurant. One lady was doing taxes. Um, they were doing different businesses, and then they had a what you call a where the experts talk about what they're doing in the meeting and why they were there. And they was just kind of telling us that if we're going to get in the business of real estate, or they needed funds for housing or for their business, then they could ask them questions, get questions from them, and they would. And so I was sitting there, I was like, man, this is where I'm supposed to be. Okay, so I need to know these people. So that's what I learned, that, you were right, Frank. I do need to get out more because I'm a homebody. So and I did, and I really enjoyed it, talking to people from different perspectives of their businesses. And I think that's about it. I'm not a talker, y'all. I'm not a talker.
Well, that was fantastic. That is all it takes, is to just get out there and do it. Do it right, do it wrong, just do it. And
Yeah.
and you learn. If you did it right, wonderful. Let's say, for example, had you had business cards and you passed out business cards, even if you didn't know um, what was on the business card, you're just passing them out, you'd have got people calling you back. Accepting business cards, taking business cards from people. You could follow up and say, "Hey, I was at the meeting that the day that you were. Um, Tell me more about what you do." And then, of course, they will. And then they'll say, "Tell me more about what you do." And say, "Well, all those things you just said, I get you the money for that." "Oh, really? I'm so happy to meet you." And so do it right, do it wrong, just do it. Doesn't matter, just do it. Wow, that was wonderful, Brenda. I hope that everyone listening to this recording, um, Brenda said she was a homebody. She doesn't like to get out and about with people, but she did it. And she broke the ice. And now the next, was it fun, Brenda?
Yes, I really enjoyed it, talking to people. Yeah.
So are you going to do it again, Brenda?
Yes, Frank, I am.
See,
I am gonna do it again.
see that? So Brenda broke the ice. It was fun. She'll do it again. Now, let me
Yes.
tell you the end of the story that I didn't tell you about going to all four of those meetings every month. Something that most people don't know, and they don't um, advertise it, is at the end of every RIA meeting, the movers and the shakers get together, and they usually go out for coffee after the meetings. And when I caught wind of that, not only did I go to all the four of the meetings, but I also went to the after meeting at the restaurant. Sometimes it was at the restaurant to have breakfast because the meetings got over that late. So we'd be having breakfast at the restaurants. And that's where the magic really happens. That's when you get to know the president of the RIA group. That's when you get to be his buddy. And that's when you get all the special perks. It's not the meeting so much, but after the meeting when they go to their coffee and they let the hair down and the facade is gone, the business is gone, and it's just regular people talking. That's where the real magic happens, is after the meeting. Anyway, it's 10:47, and I'm going to be real quiet for the rest of the presentation, and I'm just going to let Jim talk.
You gonna let who talk?
I said it first.
You did. Okay. Well, Brenda, you done a fantastic job. Ron, you done a fantastic job. And Richard, he was awfully quiet in this meeting, and I'm sure he's got some more to say for the next 10 minutes. So, Richard, will you take over? You got to unmute yourself.
That was a lateral.
Called
The
pass the
football,
buck.
the football was passed.
Pass the buck, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things we want to do. First of all, we plan on focusing a little deeper next week. Frank, what's on the agenda for next Wednesday? Was that the day for business finance?
Oh yeah, the business finance. Oh yeah, next week we're going to be talking about business finance and not real estate, not necessarily real estate, but setting up a business so that it is fundable. When you go to an attorney and you set up an LLC and you get your EIN number, most attorneys have you set it up so that you are uh, protected. And if they do that, that's why the banks tell you come back in 2 years when you go to your bank that you know everyone in the bank because you've been there for 10 years prior to going into business. Then you ask them for a business loan and they say, come back in 2 years because attorneys will set you up so that you're not responsible for anything you do wrong. Well, we set it up so that you are responsible. And because you are responsible, we teach you exactly how to get all the money that you want as a startup business. And we teach you how to get all the credit that you need as a startup business. And much of it is going to have nothing to do with your personal credit. I didn't say it's not going to have anything, but much of it is not going to have anything to do with your personal credit. It's a great opportunity. So next week, make sure you bring people that are interested in opening any kind of business. And with all of the government furloughs that took place, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people right now who are looking for something different to do. This would be the opportunity to reach out to those people on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on every other media. Reach out to those people and invite them to next week's meeting, because next week is going to be all about how to get the money and how to set up your business so that you'll be fundable, and how in 90 days you'll have $100,000 line of business credit, which will not affect your personal credit at all.
Good. We got a little housekeeping to take care of now. You may be aware that there's a holiday on Friday, July 4th. I'm going to be working Friday, and I know Frank and Jim are probably going to be working Friday anyway, but out of deference to everybody else, I'm going to suggest that maybe our Friday meeting needs to be scratched from the calendar, simply because Friday's a holiday and everybody deserves a day off. That's my suggestion. Anybody have an opinion about that?
Oh, I agree with you completely, because I'm going to have some sand between my toes on Friday. So it's a good
I agree
idea.
with you both.
Yeah. You know, I guess everybody needs a break once in a while, and Friday is a good reason to celebrate and to take a break. So let's just reconvene on Monday. In the meantime, we do have a bunch of material we're accumulating that we want to share with everybody. We've started sending out different documents for your files. I would suggest that everybody kind of organize their computer files so that they can put these documents someplace that they can get to them. Don't be like Frank and have 1,000 different documents on your desktop. Find a spot. get a routine where you've got some place that you can go to for easy financial business, and maybe put some subfolders in there for real estate, for business, for different things. I have one, for example, on my computer that is labeled new affiliate package. And it includes those 3 documents that everybody needs to sign so that I know exactly where it is, what they are, I keep them up to date, and I can send them out at a moment's notice. But anyway, the more efficiency you can kind of put into the paperwork, the less important it's going to be to you, but the more helpful and productive it'll be to have them there so you can use them. I also have a different folder for all of the bit.ly links, all of the videos, so that I can pop them up as quickly as I can. But all of those kind of things matter in the short run. You don't want to waste a lot of time with it, but then that's the whole purpose of getting a little organized, so you can get to them when you need to, and not fiddle around with them.
Your desktop is a perfect place to put them.
So long as it's got some white space, some open space.
I knew you'd say that.
Well, so many of us. I mean, you start doing this stuff, and 6 months later, you think, "Oh my God, I should have organized this differently because it's getting out of control." Uh, so every 6 months, I go through a little housekeeping and reorganize and whatever. But we all have to do what we have to do.
You can also
Anything
set up
else?
a folder. You could set up a folder on your desktop that says documents, and then just save the documents in that folder. So your whole
Absolutely,
desktop.
that's a terrific solution.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you, Alma.
You're welcome.
I would mention to everybody just briefly, using Zoho email. You need to be cautious when you let Zoho prompt you a name for a recipient. When you get to the 2 and you type in the first letter or so of somebody's name, Zoho will prompt a name for you to complete the email address. The problem is that Zoho has a bug. I've notified Zoho myself with a trouble ticket, so maybe they'll work on it, maybe not. But oftentimes, if you at any time misspell somebody's email or their name or what have you, if you do that at any time and you find your mistake and you fix it the way you think it needs to be fixed, you even go to contacts in Zoho and fix it there. It won't prevent Zoho from continuing to kind of prompt what I call a ghost address. It'll bring up that misspelling that you had back in the past that you already fixed, and it'll hold on to that. So be cautious when you start typing in somebody's address for the recipient, that the address prompted is actually accurate. If it's not, scrap it and type it in from fresh. Just make sure that the address you're sending it to is spelled correctly and the way you want it, not the way that you accidentally typed it at some point in the past. Just another thing to worry about. But anyway, it's a minor thing, but it's something that we probably just need to keep an eye on. Hopefully sooner or later Zoho will fix that. Anything else before we break?
I had like a comment about going to the RIA meetings. I'm friends with a realtor, and I was telling her about Easy Financial and financing, and she told me that there's a women's association, women realtors association, that she's going to invite me to next time they have a meeting. So that was another thing that we could think about, other than just
Absolutely. That's terrific, Alma. Yeah.
yeah. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, Alma,
Okay,
we'll have to send you the 125% buy, fix, and flip PowerPoint presentation so that when
Okay.
you get to that meeting, you can do it in 10 minutes like I do.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay.
Super.
All right.
You
Well,
guys are
God bless.
great. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Frank's
weekend.
going to put this on YouTube, this recording, so everybody who wasn't able to make it today can get to it because they'll be looking for it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Y'all have a
Thank
great
you
day.
all. Enjoyed you all.
Richard, why don't you try to dismiss us?
Well, I'm not the host. Don't suppose
Okay.
there's any way for you to do that.
Well,
I think everybody just needs to leave the building.
I think so, because I have no control.
Yeah.
I am doing
Okay.
everything I can. I
You
have
gave it to
zero
Alma,
control.
didn't you? Oh, there goes two.
I'm gonna have to unplug my computer. Oh man, I never had this happen before.
Hmm.